greetings to you from wherever you're watching us tonight. Thanks for joining us on the Friday edition of the show. I'm here, me, Adebayo. Well, tonight on the show, we have a special for you on basketball development. We have a guest in the house. We'll be talking to you about basketball and, of course, the hope for young kids in the game. We'll also, on the show, be talking about the English Premier League. We'll talk about Nigeria Premier Football League. Both competitions will be going into match day 2. We're talking about all of that. And, of course, today, the National Youth Games, of course, took center stage. With the opening ceremony, we'll look at that as well. The Super Eagles of Nigeria will get our attention. 23-man list already out. Of course, some notable omissions. We'll talk about that on the show as we go on tonight. So that's the outlook of the show. Of course, it's a two-man show. My colleague Austin Okonakwan is going to be joining us in a bit. And of course, we will. All right, my man Austin Okonakwan is there now. So, Austin, it's good to have you on the show.
What a greetings to you, Yemi, and of course our viewers joining us from different parts of the world. Always an action-packed sort of sports, and thank God it's Friday. I love it when it's Friday because it means we're getting into a weekend of sporting action. Action in the Premier League in England right here. Action in the Nigerian Professional Football League, Nigeria Premier Football League, and of course the different leagues across Europe. And there's just all we can do, follow the action. Yesterday was so beautiful. We had Chelle in the studio. She was talking about with a basketball in her hand, she can inspire and motivate young girls. We have another beautiful story tonight again, using basketball to empower lives. I love it so much, Yemi. And the Super Eagles list, remember, it wasn't you, it was Cecilia. I was saying there was absolutely no need for that provisional list, that it was just pure distraction. I'm glad we have our 23-man list now, and we know the players that will execute. That's crucial. 2026 World Cup qualifying matches against Rwanda and South Africa's Bafana Bafana.
All right, let's quickly introduce our guest in the Lagos studio. Of course, he's the man who's represented Nigeria at youth level. Of course, participating in the sport of basketball. And he has come so far since then. Of course, these days, he's talking about how to help young kids achieve their dreams. We have the pleasure of having Tunji Shoroye with us on the show tonight. Tunji, greetings to you. Thanks for finding time out of your busy schedule to be with us on the show.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
All right. Now, straight away, let me just, dive straight. The question will be, how did it begin for you? I mean, if it was football, people would say, okay, cool, football.
Yeah.
But basketball, how were you discovered? How did it begin, the interest in the game?
I think it was just sports in general. It was soccer at first. And then I grew too tall for soccer. And then I had a cousin at the time that was playing basketball. It was about 6'7". I was taller than him. And so he got me into the game. And I fell in love with it. I did it very, very, I put so much time into it. And then I was, you find luck sometimes when you work hard. I think I'm one of those lucky guys. I started playing basketball.
All this happened in Nigeria?
All this happened in Nigeria, in Ibadan. I grew up in Ibadan. I played for the local teams in Ibadan, just, pick up games and stuff. And then I played on the festival team as well. And then I came to Lagos, joined the Islanders. Mm-hmm. And I joined the junior team, and then I played for the senior team as well for a couple of years. And then after that, I played for the junior national team. And then from there, I was able to get a scholarship to go play in America. All right.
An interesting part of your story that I read was how, on your behalf, one of those coaches spoke with coaches abroad.
Yes.
And they were able to get you in.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It was one of our coaches. He was a former player as well, Masai Ujiri. He was one of our coaches then. He had his contacts in the States. And he just told them, hey, I have this guy here, come down and see him. And the coaches, they came down, came to Lagos for the first time.
You had no idea?
I have no idea. They came to Lagos for the first time. I met them for the first time. We went to the embassy the next day. I think they spent maybe 3 days, maybe 2.5 days in the state in Nigeria. So they met me. We went to the embassy the next day. They flew out that day. I got my visa, and then a couple months later, I was in the States. So
And like
everything
they say, the
happened
rest is
very
history.
fast. I'm sorry, and I can say definitely. I mean, from where and how I grew up, that was that was super fast. And then, like you said, yeah, the rest was history after that.
All right.
Yeah.
Let me allow my colleague chip in with a few questions of his as well.
Tunji, good to have you on the show, and we appreciate the work you're doing for basketball, particularly using it, to empower lives. I've just been looking at Just Help Africa. What you've got to Just Help Africa?
Yeah, thanks. So Just Help Africa, I started Just Help Africa just because when people ask me what it means, it just means we simply want to help. That's all it means. I've been helped a lot through my career and how I got to the States. I mean, I worked hard, but then there was some help, there was some luck out there, So I created Just Help just because I want to be able to come back home and help whoever I can, however I can. It's simply that simple, yeah.
Let's go back to when you represented Nigeria. You were at the African Championship in Egypt and the Junior World Championship in Argentina at just 17. At that stage where you witnessed our basketball, now if you have a chance to turn things around, where will you start? How will you do it? And how important is it for us to get on that sort of project?
I mean, I think it starts from the grassroots, man. We have so much talent in this continent, in Nigeria specifically. I think, if you look at states, every neighborhood have a basketball court. They have camps, they have clinics. I think if we want to explore our talents, we need to do something like that. Just start these guys at I started very, very late. Start these guys at a very, very young age, develop them, teach them the game. And what comes with the game is structure. It gives you structure in your life as well, So I would say just start from the grassroots. Let's try to find these talents very, very early, develop and teach them. That's what I would advise when it comes to, growing basketball in Nigeria.
All right, let me throw this in before we, lay to rest with the project you're into. I mean, you've said a few things about it already. You talked about structure.
Yeah.
And I think most enthusiasts, lovers of the game, journalists, and every stakeholder will probably agree that that's what is missing. I mean, you already talked about talent, abundance of talent. And so as somebody who's seen both sides, what's missing in terms of structure? What's really missing?
I think infrastructure is missing for big time because some of these families, so for example, Just Help Africa, we go to these villages that have absolutely nothing. And you get there, you see so much talent. Now, I'm not just going to come there and start teaching them basketball. We have to look at their homes and what are the basic needs that they are lacking. So I can't go into each household and help them. So we find these villages that have absolutely nothing, no power, no roads, no water. So we chose to go with water. So we provide them with a clean, drinkable water, a solar-powered borehole kind of water, and then we find a school in that neighborhood. And we see, okay, what are you lacking? And then that's where I tell them my story, So we make their home a little better because some of these villages, they have to walk miles. They wake up at 3 a.m. in the morning to go look for water. And this water, I tell you, they have to boil this water before they can even use them to do anything. But now, that's not their problem anymore. Now we move to okay, let's go to the schools and look at the education system there. Our latest project that we just finished this year was a school that was just abandoned. It was like 450 kids in that school, but they have only 2 classrooms that's just standing.
Which state?
It is in Oyo State, Araromi village. So last year when we came, we were able to help them renovate 2 classrooms. And I just made it a goal to come back and see if we can complete the whole infrastructure. And we're able to do that this year. So now that village have 2 boreholes. Now they have an education system that's going to start thriving now. That's going to bring some kind of focus to that mini village, So I think when it comes to structure, it comes from home, be a bit comfortable at home, and then get some education, and then you can get into sports. That's how I see it. You know, not every kid is going to be 6'11" and play basketball, but once you have those foundations, basketball can help you create some kind of structure, and it's a part of your life. You're not going to play basketball for the rest of your life. So have that education, play basketball. When you're done with playing basketball, what do you want to do afterward? Because life goes on after that. So we're trying to start from grassroots, very, very basic problems like that.
All right, finally, just tie it up for us. Off camera, we're talking about sports, basketball being an essential part of education that helps you prepare for life. Do you think that's what you're able to do with Just Help?
That's our goal. That's our goal, to like give you a path. Use us as an example of, okay, we went to school, not a good school, but then basketball helped me get to a good school. Now I'm not playing basketball anymore, and I still have a very pretty good life. I think basketball helped me get there. But again, I was 6'11" feet tall. Not every kid is going to be that tall. But so we kind of implore them, like, education is very, very important, you know. So stick to do that, and then you never know. It just makes you so versatile, I will say. Yeah.
All right. I guess that's a good place to let it land on the show. Tunji Shoro, I want to thank you.
Thank you
for your time on the show. And hopefully, we'll be following you. And if there's anything to report.
Yeah, please join us. Our website is called www.justhelpafrica.org. You'll see all our projects on there. We aim to do more of that.
All right. So that's it, our conversation with Tunji Shoro. We need to go on a quick time out. And when we come back on the other side, we'll talk about football, the Super Eagles, a lot of things happening in your fast-paced, money-spinning world of sports. All right, welcome back. We're done talking basketball. It's time to move on the show. And, of course, it's time to address the elephant in the room, and that's the quest to qualify for the 2026 FIFA World Cup. Of course, the journey didn't start smoothly for the Super Eagles of Nigeria. I mean, also, we're talking about the 23-man list. I guess there's really no uproar about who is supposed to be there, who is not supposed to be there, who made the list and should not make the list, because at this point, what everyone cares about is getting the 6 points available, and hopefully FIFA and CAF and whoever is in charge will tell us what's happening with the South African situation.
Absolutely. I mean, we've said it that Niger football is in a difficult place now. What we're just looking for at the moment are just results. So no one cares. We've always said it that these guys are top professionals, and, you know, they understand what it means to play for the senior men's national team, the Super Eagles of Nigeria. It's not a joke. When you are called, you go hard or you go home. You will never see, you know, that jersey again to wear. That's what it was back in the day. So we'll leave it to Fisayo Dairo when he joins us. He's the analyst to talk about who should have been on this list that didn't make it. But for us, we just want them to know that at this stage, match day 7 and 8, you just need to go out there and get 6 points. Because if they had gotten 6 points, they did the job, beat Rwanda at home on match day 5. Match day 6, you went to play an unacceptable 1-1 draw with Zimbabwe in Uyo, capital of Akwa Ibom State in South Nigeria. Now, the painful thing about that draw result was the time they conceded the goal. Now they're in a very difficult place on that table to qualify. Nigeria is sitting in a disgraceful fourth position with just 7 points. If they had won, if they had gotten 6 points from the previous match days, they would have been on second with 9 points. Yes, we're waiting for FIFA to do what they have to do against South Africa. Rules are rules. I don't know why they are stalling. They need to let us know before we even play that game against South Africa. That game will be played, I think, on the 9th of September. So I don't know why FIFA has been holding on to that verdict. I've been watching, I've been following them. They've been busy, the disciplinary committee. They've been giving out verdicts, but they are not talking about South Africa fielding an ineligible player in that game against Lesotho. Lesotho did give a query to FIFA that, look, they did this thing that is wrong, and South Africa admitted to it. So why is FIFA not doing something about it? That's the politics I've been talking about football, not just in Africa, but worldwide. But let's bring in Fisayo Dairo. Fisayo Dairo is the chief football writer at aclsports.com. Fisayo, good to have you join us on Sports Tonight.
Yeah, very good evening to you, Austin. So nice to join you on the show this evening.
Awesome. Fisayo, see the way I'm doing. I just can't. I'm saying, FIFA, where are you? Why are you wasting time? But let's get into that 23-man list. Finally, Eric Chelle has released the team that will go on to execute those matches against South Africa and Rwanda. To that list, Fisayo, 100% confident that they can get the job done.
Well, out of the provisional list, I think the 23 easily picks itself. You know, it's a different question if you ask me if they can get the job done. I think concentrating on, do we have the best out of the 31 listed from the provisional squad? I would say yes. You know, the 23 players, like I said, it speaks itself. We have a return of Chidozie Awaziem to the team after he went to Canada. He's back in France, so he returns to the team. We've seen, look at the players that are omitted, likes of Umar Sadiq, Alassane Yusuf, Victor Boniface. You may not be able to argue too much that they deserve to be there. The only name that one wonders if he is going to be in the right frame of mind is Ademola Lookman, because since the end of last season, Lookman has not played any game, not even a friendly game for Atalanta, and he's been listed. So will they get the job done? It's a different ball game entirely, because when it comes to the game itself, a lot of things will have to come into play.
Fisayo, before Yemi jumps into the conversation, I don't want to criticize the list, but you bring back Chidozie Awaziem that has not played with Coach Eric Chelle. You drop Igor Ogbu that was fantastic at the Unity Cup, showed promise, it was clean, won duels. You pick young Benjamin Fredericks. What's going on, Fisayo?
Well, I think the idea, or let me say the thought process, might be that we always know that the starters are William Klus-Tekong and Calvin Bassey. And these two players we mentioned played at the Unity Cup because these two guys I mentioned were not available. So in the presence of Ekong and Bassey, perhaps Benjamin Frederick might just fill the developmental quota that we have been clamoring for. It was at the under-20s that got to the quarterfinal of the FIFA Under-20 World Cup 2 years ago in Argentina, and maybe it will give him a chance. And he also did not have a bad Unity Cup as well as Ogbu. Yes, I'm also not for the recycling of players, because I think one of the things that has held the Super Eagles back over the years is that players do not go. So I will agree with you that maybe our ZM should not have come on board, you know, but I'm concerned with the fact that he might not even get to the pitch at the end of the day.
What kind of a consolation. All right, Fisayo, thanks for joining us. I want to go across in a few seconds to take a look at the list, but I want to ask you about something that you said. You said the question we should be asking is, can these guys do the job? And I want to ask you that question again. For once, try not to be the reporter that you are. Try not to be the journalist that we know you to be a very good one at that. But as a fan, with what is surrounding the Super Eagles and everything, are you that confident that the Super Eagles can go to South Africa, get a draw, can take on Rwanda, go to South Africa, get a result, then take on Rwanda, get a win? Are you that confident?
To be honest, I am not. You know, I've seen a lot from this team in the past 6, 7, 8 months, not to be confident in what they can give. I was in Uyo against Zimbabwe. You know, I was so confident after beating Rwanda away from home. You know, you can imagine how deflated the fan in me was when we conceded that late goal. Now, this is the same Rwandan side that beat us in Uyo in November, although you can say a second string side, but it's still the Super Eagles. So you don't know what to expect, especially when you look at South Africa. Both of their games will be played in South Africa. And then they know that they just have to win against Lesotho and avoid a defeat against us in Bloemfontein. So am I confident? honestly, I am not confident. But, historically, when you are not confident in Nigerian teams, they tend to go the extra mile. Let's hope this is one of the cases.
Now, are you bothered, before we x-ray the list, are you bothered that FIFA, CAF, whoever is in charge, has not really, cleared the air on this matter of whether they will get docked, that Bafana will get docked 3 points? Because the issue is clear. There was a violation. We know what the rule says. Some are saying, why the delay? So are you bothered, as some are, with the delay of maybe dispensation of justice or whatever you want to call it?
Well, I'm bothered, actually. I'm bothered because it's strange, really, because all other incidents, all other issues emanating from FIFA World Cup qualifiers have been thrashed out by the world governing body. But curiously, this particular one has not been adjudicated upon. So it begs the question that, remember how it used to be when we had Isaiatu as the Cameroonian, as the president of CAF, and whenever we faced Cameroon, all these conspiracy theories here and there, whether they were true or not, nobody can really substantiate. But it brings such memories that, is it because it's Patrice Motsepe's country? Is it because South Africa have actually not been at the World Cup since 2010, which they hosted, and they're trying to do everything to make sure they come back with the South African as captain? So it's, like I said, it's strange and it's an anomaly, but what else can we do than to just make noise? Gernot Roy himself, the coach of Benin, had made noise about it over 2 weeks ago, but nobody has said anything. And so my calculation is perhaps they are waiting to see what happens in the September windows, since South Africa have double home games, and then Nigeria have a daunting trip to South Africa. So maybe after South Africa had won both games, and then they will now say, okay, we deduct 3 points, when they've seen that the 3 points cushion can mean something good for them at the summit of the table. That's my thinking.
All right, we'll see what happens with that. And it's a big question, really, whether or not the 3 points deduction will hate Nigeria or not. I want to quickly go across to take a look at the list. I'm going to get the thoughts of Fisayo, although he has spoken about it. Stanley Webberley is the question a lot of people are asking. Is he fit? Is he not? So we talk about that. Abbas Obasoge is there. Adeleye Adebayo, the 3 goalkeepers in the squad. The defenders, William Troost Echo, Calvin Bassey, Olaoluwa, Bright Osayi, Samuel, Bruno Oyemiechi. The defenders in the squad, Chidozie Awazie, Felix Agu, Benjamin Fredericks. The defenders, let's go at the midfielders. Alex Iwobi, Frank Oyenka, Wilfred Ndidi, Fisayo, Dele Bashiru, Rafael Oyedika, Chrysantos Uche, who plays for Getafe. The forwards, Ademola Lookman, Samuel Chukwueze, Victor Osimhen, Simon Moses, Cyril Desses, Tolu Arokodare plays in Genk for a Belgian side called Genk. So these are the players, and also the players that were dropped. You have some of the players dropped, interesting names that Fisayo had already talked about. You have Ebenezer Akot, Igor Ogbu joined, Alassane Yusuf, Victor Boniface, Sadiq Umar, Nathan Taylor, Terry Murphy, and of course, Adams Akor. All right, Fisayo, before I quickly yield back to Austin, Stanley Wabale is the big question. Of course, nobody really knows the extent of the injury. But among the players dropped, is there anyone you feel could have played a role or contributed something that probably we lack in the 23-man squad?
Oh, to be honest, not really, because, like I said earlier, one of the things that have held the Super Eagles back is that we are parading the same set of players for up to 4 years now. Now look at this 23 we have. The difference from this team and the team that started these qualifiers against Lesotho and Zimbabwe and even the AFCON is just 3 players. Defender Benjamin Frederick, the midfielder Christian Tosuche, and Tolu Arokodare. Cyril Dizas have been here for a long time. Now we're talking about Umar Bali. What if he's injured? From nowhere, we get Adebayo Adeleye blocked out, who last represented us about 2 years ago. So Austin was talking about Awaziem, who had been removed since he went to the MLS, and now he makes a return without doing something extraordinary to earn these places. So that's just the thing that has held the Super Eagles back. The players have made the national team a house. Kelechi Iheanacho is not listed this month, but you can just watch. By October, he'll be back in the team, whether he does anything at his club or not. So out of the 31, out of the players dropped, they are still same of the same. Who among the players dropped that are new players? Maybe Igorobu. The rest have been here for 2-3 years. Terry Murphy is just coming back from injury. Umar Sadiq, I don't think he has anything to offer the team. Alassane Yusuf is still a miracle. I mean, people still believe it's a miracle that he's making the provisional list. So nothing much to see in the team. We have refused to refresh the team. We have refused to bring in new faces that can compete with the ones that are there.
Fisayo, and that's the worry right there, because you sound like it's just an ordinary team. But my worry also is, does Eric Chelle know this team? He's been in charge since January. He has led the main team to 5 matches. He has played 2 World Cup qualifiers, played 2 matches at the Unity Cup, played an international friendly game against Russia, led the home base Super Eagles to the CHAN. So if we put 5 plus those 3 matches, 8. With this list that you've seen, does Eric Chelle know this team? Does it give you confidence that this guy can actually turn things around to get 6 points on match day 7 and 8?
I'm sure for you to ask me that kind of question, you also have something at the back of your mind. So I'm as pessimistic as any Nigerian can be, because, like rightly pointed out, he has 5 matches under his belt now. So, especially after those Unity Cup experiments and then the Russian friendly, you think that you will be able to see some starting players that that have earned their spots in it. But no, we go back to those that have not been in the team for over a year, that have never seen Eric Chelle before. You can mention up to 6 players in this team and that have not seen Chelle before. So let's just wait to see. The Nigerians, we are masters at hoping and praying, and let's hope it works again this time.
I know it's another tale of, oh Lord, take control. I don't know what the mood is like back home, but I really do hope that the Super Eagles will win, beat Rwanda, beat South Africa to keep hopes alive. I think we should just get into the NPFL.
All right, I think we just get to the NPFL, because I'm hearing a lot of hope, pray. I think we should we should just move on. All right, I'll go across now, and we'll talk about Nigeria Premier Football League. And of course, these are the fixtures. Saturday and Sunday, Bedell Insurance will take on Shooting Stars. Bayelsa United will take on Barawa FC. Kano Pillars will be up against Wiki Torres. National United will take on Abia Warriors for size. Of course, Plateau United and Katsina United will try on each other for size. Rivers United and Kwara United will slug it out. Of course, in Port Harcourt, Warri Wolves will be up against Rangers International. Then, of course, Ikorodu City will be up against El Kanemi Warriors. These are fixtures for match day 2. Interesting fixtures for match day 2. All right. Fisayo, let me quickly come to you. Of all these fixtures, if you were to tell somebody who's a skeptic, somebody you want to win over with Nigerian football, which of these venues will you advise him to go to see, the best of football?
Well, that's a very tricky question, but I think number one, it has to be in Benin City tomorrow, Saturday. Bendel Insurance against Shooting Stars. These are two teams, of course, traditional teams, and they lost the opening game of the season. Shooting Stars at home, Bendel Insurance away at El Kanami Warriors. So definitely both teams want to get their campaigns back on track, and I expect the best of Nigerian football at that particular one.
Sounds good. Sounds good. That game, Bendel Insurance, Shooting Stars, Visaya, all day, every day, historically, that one has got, so much details tied to it. And for Bendel Insurance, I think it was Warrior Wolves that got off so well at Katsina United. Would believe that they will come back into the league and then, produce that sort of result. Shooting Stars, they look good. I love the rebranding. I'm here in England and I can tell that they've got some proper media presence now. But it's time for them to start showing workings on the field. Don't you agree?
Absolutely. Yeah, in Nigerian football, especially from the fans, they cannot. Sometimes not winning games is unpardonable to them. We heard they had this record crowd in Ibadan on Sunday, but they had nothing to show for it. So when you look at their run of fixtures in the next 5 matches, you know that they need to start acting fast, especially starting from that game against Bendel Insurance, which it is going to definitely be a tough game for Shooting Stars.
I agree. Another big game that's got details tied to it is Warrior Wolves Rangers. That's another one that Warrior Wolves now at home. Rangers couldn't beat newly promoted Kun Khalifat. Can they do or get any result against Warrior Wolves?
Yeah, for Warrior Wolves, having gotten that impressive win as Katsina United, not many teams will get 3 points in Katsina. So I expect that they'll be buoyed by that. And I'm afraid they might be going on to record 100% wins from the first 2 games. Rangers have not really impressed me pre-season because, like I used to tell people, I think their recruitment has been a combination of the good, the bad, and the ugly set of players. So are you expecting consistencies all through their season for Rangers? So I won't be surprised if Warrior Wolves get that win in Ozoro on Sunday.
Yeah.
All right, Fisayo, I guess that's a good place to let it land. Tonight, I want to thank you for your time on the show. Hopefully, we'll do this again some other time.
Thank you very much for having me, guys.
All right, that was Fisayo Dairo, chief football writer at aclsports.com. All right, also, let's go to Delta. We talked about it yesterday. Of course, the opening of the 9th edition of the National Youth Games, and it was what we expected. And of course, we all agree that at this level, it's serving the purpose, because, of course, the purpose is to discover talents. And I guess we may have 1 or 2 other issues, but we all agree that for this one, it is still serving the purpose. Maybe we should increase funding, but aside that, I think it's serving the purpose. And you look at the contingent from each state, it shows the level of seriousness attached to this competition. This competition, and that's how it should be.
It is. I must commend whoever is behind this transformation from the 6th edition to this one. You can tell that there's been improvement. Number 1, the attention it is getting. Number 2, their seriousness with age cheats. I saw some of the screening and I was like, now we're getting to know that for us to get it right, this part of it, this is foundational. This is the basics. We need to do well with it. And the state government also, they are doing well with it. Was it Kano that got a chartered flight to take their contingent? And it was so heartwarming, So that's what we're talking about. Those are the sort of little things we need to start doing to show that we want to give attention to grassroots sports development. That's Lagos State right there. We saw Edo with their beautiful red and white outfit, Team Lagos, and the fact that we also, that's a lovely ball juggler right there. And the fact that we also have the the special athletes involved in this one. Look, it's 360. It's one that we can actually look at and say, let's do to eradicate the win at all costs mentality and find ways that we invest into proper long-term planning. Let's go to Asaba, the Delta State Governor. The 9th edition of the National Youth Games has been declared open.
This is more than a sport. It is a celebration of our young people, of unity, and of the prosperous future that Nigeria owes. Sport speaks a language that goes beyond tribe, religion, or background. It brings us together as one people with shared dreams and victories. Here in Delta State, our people are very passionate about sports. In fact, sport is part of who we are. Over the years, we have built a record as the home of champions. From athletics to football, from boxing to basketball, Delta has consistently produced stars who shine at the national, Africa, and global levels.
Mr. President recognizes that sports is one bond that can hold us together for unity as a country and as a people. And as we gather here for the next 2 weeks, over 6,000 young athletes, 15 years downwards, to compete in the spirit of sportsmanship. We believe that several young talents in football, field and track, boxing, and several other sports will emerge. They will be fed into our federations, and from there, they will be nurtured and trained and upskilled to represent this country. Remember what they often say, the gold is in the child. When somebody grows up and wins the gold, it's because when the person was young, 10, 14, 15 years, the person was already doing one sport or another. So this is very important. I'm also happy to say that sports development in our country is in the hands of very capable people. Chelle, the chairman of the National Sports Commission, and Honorable Bukola Olokwade. These are experienced sportsmen and women, joined by other women in sports. They are in charge of sports right now, and they will continue to do our country great.
Love it. You first listened to the Speaker of the Delta State House of Assembly, who represented the governor and former Minister of Sports, who is also still working right there with the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Mr. Sunday Dare, talking about the essence of the National Youth Games and what we should be expecting. Yemi, I like it so much. As I said, I hope that this will, give us a clear understanding of why we need to invest in sports at the grassroots and ultimately eliminate the win at all costs syndrome.
Yeah, I can't agree less. I can't agree more with you for what you've said about it, and I hope we can continue in this light, and hopefully we'll be able to say in the future, I was there when so-and-so was discovered in so-and-so edition, in so-and-so state during the National Youth Games. All right, our party shot on the show tonight will be the English Premier League. I'm going to go across to quickly reel it out. Saturday and Sunday matches to be played in the English Premier League as we prepare to wrap things up on the show tonight. Let's start with tomorrow. On Saturday, Chelsea will take on Fulham. Manchester United will take on Burnley. Sunderland will take on Brentford. Tottenham Hotspur will be up against Bournemouth. Wolverhampton Wanderers will take on Everton. Of course, Leeds United will take on Newcastle United. These are the matches to be played on Saturday. Then on Sunday, Brighton will take on Manchester City. Nottingham Forest will take on West Ham United. The biggest game of the weekend in the English Premier League. No doubts, no arguments. Liverpool and Arsenal. And I'm very sure everybody will be talking about that game. Then Aston Villa will take on Crystal Palace. These are the matches in the English Premier League. Austin, I know time will not allow us to talk extensively about the English Premier League, but it looks like Alexander Isak might just still be able to go to Liverpool before the transfer deadline, because Newcastle seem to be working behind the scenes to get the 2 strikers they want before they can let Isak go.
That's right, you know, and as I said last night on the show, it's all geared towards having a strong team that can compete in the league and also the UEFA Champions League. So they are chasing. Isak is open to that move. I'm sure, as you said before the deadline day, Liverpool will try to get their man, which is also a reminder to us now that just one striker doesn't do it, because when you want to win the league or compete favorably in Europe, you need a proper squad depth. But I must admit and accept that this is actually the best we've seen of Arsenal with squad depth in the last 4 or 5 seasons. So this Super Sunday game against Liverpool will be a big test for the Gunners, not just for the Gunners. They've done just enough to win their first 2 matches. Match day 3 already giving us a big contest to talk about. And I've been following analysis on radio and television, and I can see that player for player, Arsenal can actually talk now. And if you look at the bench, you know, depending on the sort of strategy that Arteta wants to deploy, he can actually look at the bench and, you know, bring in players to get things done. So let's see. Eberechieze likely to make his debut for the Gunners. That game against Liverpool is going to be a beautiful game of football, and we cannot wait to have it, and then we'll come back to talk about it. But big one right there. Manchester United, they cannot afford to sleep against Burnley, because that's one. All of these talks that the board seem to be saying that they have confidence in Ruben Amorim. If they do not beat Burnley at Old Trafford, then I think that will just be it for Manchester United and Ruben Amorim. Big game, as I said. We're also waiting to see what's going to come out on Sunday between Nottingham Forest and West Ham United. Action-packed world of sports. So much to talk about it. But unfortunately, that's where the curtain falls on this edition of the show in London. I'm Austin Okonakman. In everything you do, remember, let's keep talking sports. Bye for now.
All right, it's a wrap here in Lagos as well. That's the show for today. It's the last one for the week. Enjoy your weekend. You see us again next week. I'm Yemi Adebayo. Bye-bye now.